Okay, we're gonna try to run 2 cameras at once. So this is the first attempt. I don't know if I'm gonna post anything from it, but all I did was hit record on 2. We're gonna let it run. I got the camera inside the cab that's mic'd up, so I got audio from in the cab. I don't have to have audio from outside the cab. I got the perspective of the hopper. We're running a little early in the morning. Not quite 7 o'clock, but I've been running for a little over an hour. About 100 stops in. Oh, we got the bus doing his thing. He's picking kids up for school, so we're getting close to a rush hour here soon. 7 to 7:30 is not too bad. 7:30 to 8, it gets a little dicey when it comes to traffic. It's I wonder if a branch just hit the camera because the perspective changed. Looks good though. Kind of acts like another hopper cam. So instead of using the monitor there, I got the other one here, which is kind of neat. Branch knocked it. I can't tell. Still the same. Didn't move. You'll notice, obviously, there's a lot of snow. We got hit by 2 snowstorms. The second, which really got dumped on, I think, Sunday night into Monday, or maybe it's Monday. I don't know. I'm running Monday right now, and I know I didn't run last Monday. I couldn't get into town. A lot of highways were drifted over. Bad. They brought in some snow blowers from out of state. I think they had one there. I think there's one already in Nebraska, but then they brought some in from the Dakotas. But it's machines that were just built specifically for just being snow blowers. Because we had some drifts that I was able to... Alright, this doesn't happen often. You gotta set it all the way down and then send it. Then it comes out. There's a video where a guy was trying to shake a bag off of his cart. Like he kept shaking it, and was waving to a lady in the door. But what happens is the drawstrings on a garbage bag will hang on the bar for the tipper on rear load trucks. Rear load trucks will have a toter tipper, and there's a bar that keeps it from falling in. And that bar has just a little bit of a lip on the inside of these carts where it on occasion will snag them. It's not often. It's like 1 in 1,000. I don't have it happen very often. Okay, the reason I twisted this cart a little bit was to get it to pop that lock, because that tab will lock these things shut, and if there's not enough weight inside the garbage cart for the weight of the garbage to knock the lid open, it doesn't open. So I twist them a little and then send it. But anyway, back to the idea of this. These drawstrings will hang on the bars, and you'll see a guy just shake and shake and shake and shake. He's trying to shake them off. And majority of the time, what works for me is to set it all the way back down, let it unhook itself from that string, and then tip it again. But to like have it up and inverted, where the weight of the garbage bag is always on that string, which is on the bar, and like just the shake, those strings take a lot for them to snap or break. So it's better just to reverse the process, let it undo itself through gravity, and then send it again. Doesn't work 100% of the time, but majority of the time it's worked for me. You can see how easily it went back there. Yeah, I'm going to start doing some loops the way I routed this one, this is a very conventional neighborhood where it's, you know, set up like a checkerboard. And all you gotta do is kind of set yourself up to loop, 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 where you drive over the short sides of the street instead of long sides. Because with automated, you route these things, you will have to like retrace some streets. But if you route it in a way where you retrace the short side, then it actually goes pretty smooth. And driving over a couple streets is not so bad if you're making right-hand turns all the time. Because I'll pull up to a major arterial where there's more traffic, and if I'm making right-hand turns, it's easier to get into the flow of traffic as opposed to trying to turn left where you got to cross one lane and then, you know, keep up the speed with the other. At least that's how I prioritized it. We didn't have any software automatically route the routes for us. We routed them ourselves with a few rules that we gave ourselves, as far as like, you know, try to time it so you're not picking up schools between 7:30 to 8. We're picking up houses near schools 7:30 to 8. You want to have some interior neighborhoods that you can work during that time. So when you got neighborhoods that are sandwiched between two major arterials that bring traffic into town, you can go work those for a little bit while traffic dies down, then kind of get back to the other area and finish it up. Now, sometimes it's not 100%. I could probably do some rerouting on this one, because like on Christmas, where there's more traffic or more trash and you're getting out more, you slow yourself down. Then instead of picking up 90 or 100 stops an hour, you might slow down to 70, and that's going to change the time frame in which you get to some places. Now I try to always be within the same half-hour window in which I service some customers. It's not that I want to promise customers a timed service. That's actually a bad idea. You don't want to tell people, oh, we can service your house between 10 and 10:30. It's like, no, we service your house on Monday, so have your trash out on Monday. And you know, what happens is people get used to a habit. So they're like, well, he's always here at like 10 o'clock, and now it's 10:15. Do I make a phone call? No, don't do that. Particularly when we're having weather like this. We had a truck, or I was out till about 5:30 one night, just trying to keep up, or was still kind of trying to overcome or catch up with all the weather delays that we had. And so it was 5 o'clock, and people were rolling their trash back to the house. And we're like, no, don't do that. Like, we're still running, we're still going. Don't put your trash back until it's empty. And that caused confusion. And I think it's because, you know, like I said, people are used to like, well, he's always here at this time and he's not, so I'm going to put it back. Don't do that. What's nice that we have is we actually use a text messaging service, so phone calls are really time intensive, and I know to the average person you might think, oh, phone calls are easy, I can have it done, you know, within a minute. Very rarely does anyone call for just a minute. And if you're servicing thousands of people and, you know, dozens of them want to make phone calls for, you know, 5 to 10 minutes, I think you get people that are somewhat lonely, because they'll start getting chit-chatty. And maybe they're not lonely, maybe they're just sociable. But it's like, that's really tying up our phones, making all these phone calls about weather. What's this guy doing? Is he waiting for me? I guess he's waiting for me. I suppose he's waiting for me. Maybe he wants to put his trash back. I don't know. You know, before I go to work, I can have roll my cart back. I think that's what I don't know. I don't know what you wanted. Should be able to pull out though. I'm not blocking the driveway. I'm not sure. Nope, he's not putting it back. Alright, well, whatever. That's what I thought he was doing. That's fine. Anyway, but we use text messaging, which is a lot nicer because people can just text in and be like, hey, is your guy still running? My trash isn't empty yet. And you can have a dozen text messages come in and just boom, 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 respond to all of them quickly. And generally that keeps the correspondence somewhat short because our office guy is not just for answering phones. The way we set up this operation, I say we, but it's principally Mitchell. He's in the podcast, but we're all kind of like invested in the operations of things as far as like, hey, how do we make this run better? The way we kind of set it up is like everyone's got something that they can do outside of just garbage. Like I can go drive a garbage truck. I can also route routes fairly well. I've done a little bit of preventive maintenance on this truck. I do all the content and social media. I don't use the social media to answer customer service questions per se. Like we'll have customers call in or text into our social media saying like, hey, my trash is still out, blah, 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 or, you know, I'm going to have extra this week. Those questions. I have an auto response on our social media that says, yeah, just direct those kind of questions. If you're a customer, direct those to our text messaging service. Because that is the guy that is sitting at the computer with our customer management software. And we're currently using Trash Flow. It's an okay software. There's a few pitfalls that, you know, we'd like some other features, but it's working pretty well so far. But Trash Flow is what we use that keeps all the information on our customers accessible to the person at the office. So when someone calls in, or you know, when someone messages our social media, I'm not on Trash Flow when I'm reading that social media question. So because like it'll be someone that like lives at the household, but their name's not on the account. So someone will be like, hey, my trash is still sitting out. And I'll try to look it up. Like I'll have to go to my own home computer and look up on Trash Flow and try to figure it out. And it becomes like a 20-minute ordeal just to figure out what's going on. Whereas if they send the message to the guy working the office who's got Trash Flow already open, and he's using the text messaging system that's at that computer, when someone messages through our actual designated text messaging service, like he can answer that question within seconds, and it takes me, you know, multiples of minutes. When we're trying to do customer service through social media, it's not a good platform. And then there's some other software that we don't have this, but I've seen it elsewhere. There's other software that will try to consolidate all of the messaging platforms into one. Kind of reminds me of like The Office, where the guy had Wolf, which is kind of funny, which is consolidating all the social media into one. There's something like that where it takes your text messaging and social media platforms, Google platforms, all that gets condensed where you can answer all of them from one. And it works okay, but we don't have to have it. Or at least we're getting by with what we got. Anyway, but so there's a guy that's, his expertise is kind of running the correspondence through the office. And I do the social media and content creation and some routing. And I do a lot of stuff with just, like, when it involves the automated routes, I'm usually always in part of that discussion. And we have another guy that does rear load, and he does a lot of work running dumpsters back and forth, and then doing some little bit of maintenance and a little bit of work around the shop. So everybody's doing something outside of just running the garbage. Looks like one of those was not out. And for the most part, that has kept our staff somewhat lean, and we're still able to take our vacations or take time off because we can shift things around. Or if someone's gone for a week for vacation or whatever, it's not hard to like suspend a little. Like if I do a little bit less social media, I can drive someone else's route or cover those stops. Same with anyone else in a different position. It's like, well, I'll just do a little bit of less of this and cover a route, or you know, we can all kind of share, do a little extra so someone can take some time off. And it's not too terribly stressful, because even with all the weather we had last week, you can see all the snow that's remaining from it. Our routes are on schedule. You know, we're not behind, and we didn't really leave anybody. There might have been some rural stops we didn't get to, but as far as like the core of our routes, you know, people were getting serviced. We had a Friday route that carried over the weekend, but we had it cleaned up by Tuesday. That is mostly because the alleyways it's a lot of alley stops, and we couldn't get into the alleys until later. But we were running the Friday route in addition to the Monday and Tuesday route. You know, we caught up a little bit of a Friday on a Monday, we caught up with a little bit of a Friday on a Tuesday, and you know, we stayed on pace. And if there was people that were confused, or you know, they're getting picked up late, you know, they could just text message us and we're able to kind of keep them up to speed. And I was doing some social media posts that were kind of a broad statement saying, hey, this is what we're doing, but to the individuals they could text. And I think a lot of customers appreciated that level of communication, just so they understood, like, were they late by hours or are they late by a day? For the most part, the majority of the customers were late by a few hours. Okay, this one I'm going to try to give the mailman a little bit of a break. Put it up here. Can't see it. That's what I'm kind of. That's why I kind of turn my neck a little bit more, because I lose sight of that mailbox when it's on the outer rim of my mirror, and it's kind of in the glare of my monitor. I can roll the window down, but it's also kind of cold. Relatively cold. Truck says 35, but it always reads like 10 degrees warmer, so it's more like 25. The temperature, even at 25, that's actually considerably warmer. We were having wind chill of negative 40, I think, last week, and it's consistently like negative 5 degrees. It was bad. This is a little uncomfortable. Not the best conditions to do garbage. And I say that ironically, or kind of tongue-in-cheek, as I run everything from the cab of a heated truck. A lot of people will be like, oh, you're sitting in a heated cab. I know I am, and it's amazing. You should try it. Actually, you know what? You should try doing, is one of those gone out? I'm going to leave that open until I come back and see it. It's hard to see in the dark with the headlights in my mirror. I can't see exactly. Like, not all the addresses are clearly visible. Sometimes they'll put them on the curb or on the mailbox or on the house above the door or house above the garage. So I'm not checking those off until I run the other side of the street.